Hello, baby.
Welcome to Fringeworthy, Team 6, and the adventure to another strange world that seems to be completely dark, or is it? Anyways, we who's going to give the recap for our listeners and also for Jack, who is playing
Was sick last session, yes.
sick last session, okay, and is playing our okay, I'm sorry, Jack.
Yeah.
Same character again?
Mike.
Angel is
Mike. I'm playing Mike.
Mike. Okay, Mike Sadowski. Yes.
Mike Sadowski. Very
Mike
common.
right.
Wazowski.
So who's gonna give the recap for Mike?
I will. Okay,
Thank
so
You're a prince.
we were being chased by flying saucers and flying things. Guys jumped off. We avoided most of them except for one who became a Klingon. And then we followed the directions given by the Resistance and proceeded to fly.
You guys got to Copenhagen.
We got to Copenhagen.
Yeah, and that's where it all hit the fan.
And it went belly up, and we wound up crashing into a giant net. And Gandalf became one with the chopper,
Cool.
and was almost dead. He's at death's door.
Yikes.
That's what happens when you rattle a pea around in a can, moving at 150 miles an hour.
Not be strapped in at all.
And not being strapped in, except for by a dummy cord. So he was kind of like a human pinata inside.
Yeah.
And proceeded to crash into a net. They pulled us out, put us on a bullet train, and said, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." And we're at that point now.
All right.
Tune in next week.
Okay, who are Anthony and Patrick?
They're the rescue guys, and so were the two girls. They showed up in like body armors and pulled us out of the helicopter.
Okay, do we know the girls' names?
Their names are Joan and Beatrice.
Beat Rice. I knew that one.
Okay, I know. Did you say Dove?
Joan.
Joan.
Oh, Joan. Okay,
like Joan.
Joan.
Like all Joan Baez.
Okay. I'm trying to take better notes this campaign, so yeah.
All right.
And if you can't seem to get notes, there's always the recordings.
Yeah.
They
didn't really appear until you guys essentially crashed into the rescue net, and a couple hundred miles an hour. So yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they fished you out of that and put you guys onto some gurneys and whisked you into, as Jason said, some kind of a bullet train that took off and started racing down some underground passageways. So,
yikes.
So is there anything you want to ask? Basically, they're all around you guys, checking on you. They clip some stuff on you, so and you can see the stuff that is basically reflected on the visors they're wearing over their faces. So like a heads-up display inside. So they're paying the most attention, of course, to Gandalf, because he was the one. He's the only one who was really injured. The rest of you guys, were taken, but you're not really hurt. Okay. So anyway, I mean, you basically got bunged around a lot by because helicopters don't really come with airbags. So you got cracked about pretty hard in your harnesses. You probably got a lot of bruises, but you haven't taken any wounds. Is what I'm trying to say. All right.
We're shaken, not stirred.
They take it.
And Gandalf was blended.
Yeah, he was.
Uh-oh.
He was. He was like a stone that goes through the tumbler and ends up nice and shiny. Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay. So anyway, does anybody want to ask your attendants anything before we get to their destination, which is going to take some time?
Did they
Where
tell
are
us
we
their
going?
names?
Yes, we
Yes,
just went
they
over
did.
that.
Their
Okay.
names again. Their names are Joan, Beatrice, Anthony, and Patrick.
Hello, it's me, Patrick.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
What?
Never mind.
You're breaking up.
So, Kaitlin, does Angel have anything she wants to ask her attendant?
Where are we going?
We are going to the refuge.
Where would that be?
I can't tell you that. It's a secret.
Are we going to be stuck there forever? Apparently.
I hope not. But that's up to you. We're not abducting you. You came to us, remember?
Well, we were
That
just
is
trying
true.
to find out what was going on this planet.
Right. Well, you said you were in some kind of a survival vault or something like that. And
Something like that.
yeah.
It's called IDET.
When did? Okay. So
name. I'd love to hear the the historical background for that name.
I think he has a concussion. We'll just what
I don't have a concussion.
when did everybody go underground?
Oh well, we had to because because the church, the central command, it's the one, the universal church, the universal government. It's the one true way, and there was they weren't willing to tolerate any blasphemy and other types of things. So most people either had to carry on their beliefs in secret, or if you were bold enough or in trouble enough, you tried to find us. Sanctuary.
And how long ago did you all go underground? How long has the service been abandoned?
Oh, the service has been abandoned.
Oh.
But
the cities are all the cities were all
the
cities were empty and devoid of life.
Oh yeah, that's because that happened because everybody moved down to the ocean floor where the oxygen level was higher and warmer, and it was just more conducive.
So everyone lives underwater?
No.
All the water is up in the air now.
Yeah, the oceans are above us. The ocean is above us.
Oh, you used to have oceans, but now they're all above us now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were projected above us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we needed historically we needed the space. There were like 30, 40 billion of us, and they needed the space.
Oh, what's the population now then?
Oh, I'm not sure, but it's a lot less. it's the central command is very tight on this kind of information, but the floor of the ocean, as you put it, were covered with cities, and now there's only the one left.
What happened
Wow.
to the others? They're a disaster?
Say that God withdrew his grace from the central command. The church says that in their broadcast says that God is concentrating his holiness amongst a smaller group of people.
Well, that's very selective. What happened to all the other people? They all just die off?
They grew old and died, yes.
Okay. So what I assume to have been over 10 billion people just got old and died?
Yeah.
Was there some kind of disease that made them
No, we're very healthy.
Children, or
we're exceedingly healthy, and yes, the rate of children being born is much lower than it used to be, based on historical records, of course.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not sure we can trust that anymore ever since everything went digital. But the writings that we have indicate that people used to have, 4 or even more children in a family, and now, you're lucky if you have one.
Okay.
So,
So
anyways, but the important thing is that whatever your faith is, you're welcome in sanctuary. We have
that's
we
good.
have Buddhists, we have Zoroasters, we have Egyptians, we have of course the Muslims, and we have the religions of Africa, and of course the religions of what was known as the some of those are very smallly represented and are really more of a historical footnote and archive. Okay, as much as could be done before everybody in that group died. But but I'm saying is that whatever your religious belief is, as long as it doesn't involve killing somebody, sacrificing somebody, engaging in bodily mutilation of someone else, so it's perfectly fine if you want to do that to yourself.
Okay.
I just don't ask any of us to help you do it. Okay,
All right, well,
but
not a
I'm just saying
problem,
is that unlike the central church that has very strict rules about what is proper before God and what isn't. So and of course they do change from time to time, depending upon the edicts of the Pope.
They listen to the Pope?
He's the head of the government. He's the head of the church. He's the head of everything, except us.
Interesting. Worldwide Vatican City. All right.
Joan looks a little bit confused. He says, "Where was Vatican City?"
It was in a place called Italy.
Rome.
Oh yeah, the country looks like a boot.
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
That's where it was.
There's a lot of history, but most of the history, the most important things in history happened with Martin Luther in the 1500s.
Yes.
That almost split the church, but they came to a resolution. and
Oh, really?
the world was better for it. And also there was the Great Schism of 1054, I believe. And I mean, I have to know these sorts of things because most of the people that come here, if they make it this far, come from Central Command. Actually, most of the people that make it this far come from various maintenance crews and such, or whatever, that are from the central city.
Okay. Sure.
Most people who are in the central city wouldn't even, they it would be very hard. They might hear about it, but we haven't been. It's highly surprising. We're heretics. Example.
Okay.
Because your blood pressure is a little wonky there. Are you okay?
Me?
What are you asking?
I think she was talking to Mike because Mike was talking to her.
Yeah, this is all a very enlightening. Very, very, very enlightening.
Well, don't worry. It's just we use the same illumination as Central City does.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Good to know.
It's it's the same as New Jerusalem.
Oh, really?
So you won't have to worry. I know you. I mean, most people they start going out in all the darkness and they're like terrified. And I can understand that when you spent your entire life, in a brightly lit city, and then you come out into the outer darkness, as they put it. It's almost. Some people think that they're literally escaping to hell. But I assure you,
I can understand.
It's not like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah, we only use pitchforks, in the in the agrarian paddock.
Okay.
Most of our technology is going to be just like New Jerusalem, but since you're from this other thing, you may not. I mean, when did you go into your vault, your bolt hole, whatever?
Oh,
That's a little.
It's a little up to
There's a story behind this.
And it's not whatever he said.
Okay, all right. Well, just relax. We should be there in about another 20 minutes to a half hour.
Okay.
How far are we traveling?
A couple thousand miles.
How many?
1,000.
And how fast are we going?
Well, we got out of we got to the secret tunnel part. We basically sped up. So we're traveling about 400 miles an hour.
Very impressive.
That is, yes, that's extremely fast.
Yeah, fortunately, it would be very hard to do this without pretty much unlimited power. So
agreed. Yes.
Power. Itty bitty living space.
More power.
And it's kind of hard to explain to you. I mean, I don't know how much you know.
Pretend we don't really know anything.
Well, I mean, do you understand anything about the uplift technology?
The uplift?
Uplift technology?
You mean lifting the water?
Yeah.
No.
We know you got it, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So essentially, we are being forced along this tunnel with a standing wave of energy.
Okay.
And
So far, so good.
the outside has been depressurized mostly. So if you were, if for some reason somebody was to, quote, open a window, then it would be about normal pressure,
Okay.
even though we're traveling very, very fast. It's also why we don't have any windows in this section. We don't want to scare you. Just looking outside.
Thank you. That's
And
very
also,
nice.
there's a kind of strobing effect that has caused some people to have convulsions, but yeah,
Okay. All right.
we try to avoid those sorts of things. So anyway, the like I said, we'll be there very soon. So
Sounds like a plan.
yeah, but it's done this way so that they can't find us. Because if the church really wanted us back, I mean, they do want us back. But if they knew where we were, then they'd come after us. And, well, there'd be a lot of death, probably, because we would refuse to go, and they would refuse to not accept our refusal to go. And
They're probably fairly strong militarily.
well, exactly. There is no standing army per se. I mean, we haven't had any wars in centuries.
Who are those guys that attacked us?
People might they were mental health professionals, intervention counselors.
Quite the intervention.
Well, they're trying. I mean, you in their eyes, you must be insane to want to leave the idyllic life of New Jerusalem. So therefore, somehow your conditions slip past all the testing and interventions that they've done, and I'm sure they'd be very embarrassed about it. They'd probably be apologizing to you profusely as they tied you down and took you back, and
Take him back for regrooving.
try to change your point of view. And of course, if they failed, then they would, happily put you you'd be put into a place where you could be happy and safe and not really have to worry about anything for the rest of your life.
So how did you come to be here?
Oh, I was born in the sanctuary. I'm one of the few.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So you got those that drank the Kool-Aid and some that didn't want to drink the Kool-Aid.
Well, I mean, most people are older than me, like you guys.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I'm. Yes. I'm probably quite a bit older than you.
At the risk of sounding rude, how old are you? Just out of curiosity.
Me?
Yeah. Just out of curiosity.
I'm 16.
I'm not much
just
older
just a pup.
Right then.
He looks a little confused.
That's my normal reaction. Don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so but I want you to know that you don't have to worry. We have a whole program planned for you guys to help you acclimate to sanctuary, and I understand you're gonna have to take some sensitivity training, and not scoff at other people's beliefs, even because
I actually laugh.
Yeah, it's that's considered very, very rude. Some people have suffered a lot in order to get to where we are. and some people are a little bit grumpy that they haven't been able to convince people to join their particular belief system, and
I can understand that.
So there's a, but we respect that, and they all have the right to. Well, I don't want to use the word evangelize. I know that that's, um, but I'm saying is that it's everyone is given a fair opportunity to try to show the validity of their belief system.
I'm a firm believer that anybody's allowed to believe what they want to believe. I don't want to, but I think it should be done privately.
Okay, well, you certainly can do that. We have a few people. There is a whole sect of people that they're called. It's called a mystery religion, and they just get together and they look at each other and they say things like, "I had the most amazing revelation last night in a dream," and someone says, "Oh, good for you," because if they say, "What did you? What was it?" and they're like, and they'll look at you like, he says, if only I could share it. If only I could describe it.
Oh.
Cool
Sounds
story, bro.
rather useless.
I'm not saying that, and no one's saying they're what it's not completely valid, but they really that seems the characteristic of their particular belief is that they don't care any of their beliefs, and other than to say there are
You're breaking up, Bruce.
Except to say that there are more things in heaven and earth than are thought of in your philosophy.
Well, welcome to the religion of the First Church of Ain't That Special.
And you finally found some fellow travelers.
Yeah. Now, you'll find all kinds of different people, and of course, you can create you can create your own religion anytime you want. As long as it's properly, you do the proper paperwork.
Become a 501(c)(3) corporation.
Because if you want to have a meeting place, and things like that, it's best to be scheduled. If you want to advertise it, there are special communication channels for that sort of thing, which is everything.
Church of what's happening now.
Well, that's
called
going to
the
be
news.
that's yeah. There's the Church of What's
NPR.
Up, and of course there is the Church of What's Up.
Is there a church of shut your mouth?
That's the mystery religion.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, no, the church of What's Up, are the people that wonder what's going on in the ocean. The ocean.
I'd be curious too, since I can't imagine that the biome there exists any longer, since you've taken all of their natural food sources away from them by creating it a independent pool of water, essentially.
Yes.
There are some people that wonder that. Other people think that it's perfectly fine up there.
I wonder if the fish poop goes up or down.
I would think that the fish poop would go down. Gravity still works.
So the water up there still has ocean life in it then?
Well, that's the assumption, but we don't know.
So imagine rainstorms of fish poop.
That's why there's the Church of What's Up.
Do you get like whales, dropping from the skies?
Yeah.
Pots and petunias.
Nothing comes down. That's impossible.
Oh.
Would have happened 200 years ago if it was going to happen.
So now that you don't need all the land mass, why not regain the surface and return the oceans to their place? That would rise the temperature of the planet, would it not?
Sure, absolutely.
Right. Unfortunately, well, I mean, you can talk to the scientists that I have, but I believe that the answer to your question is we don't know how to do it.
Oh.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was done 200 years ago, and the man who was the head of the project was a true genius. People, they don't understand how anybody could have done what he did, but he did, and
well, somehow he changed the laws of physics. So,
I don't know. I don't think he changed the laws of physics. I think he maybe exploited something that we don't understand about physics. So,
yeah.
but
True.
I mean, he did introduce the idea that there are permanent standing waves of energy, and that could be used to support the ocean, which were in the way of.
And you realize, of course, the ocean is now reflecting the sunlight, so you can't get any sunlight, and it's dark.
Yes.
Well, I don't think anybody was surprised about that.
Okay.
All the stuff you did to the ocean and the water doesn't have anything to do with your loss of population, would it?
Well, apparently they expanded enough to take up space on the ocean floor. So.
Yeah, but now they said they're all down to a small population in one city.
Yeah, we don't know. It's a mystery, and but we're just taking it one day at a time as it comes along. But who knows? Maybe you guys have a different perspective.
Sure, we do.
That's entirely possible.
I mean, you guys, what's the birth rate in your vault?
Classified.
Exactly.
Yeah, we really have some things.
Then.
What's that?
We really have some things we need to talk to people about, and it would be hard to explain some things otherwise. So
okay. Well, we're almost there, and we'll be glad to you're welcome to talk to anybody who's willing to listen to you. That is one of our rules, is that if someone doesn't want to listen to you, they don't have to.
That's a good rule.
You're right. Swing a frying pan ends where my nose begins.
Not gonna force anybody to do anything.
That's a good thing. Yeah, most people do things because they know that if they don't, then everything falls apart and we all die. So, but it takes an awful lot of people doing nothing for that to happen. I mean, there's still, we still have weekends, we still have holidays, we still have all kinds of feast days. Matter of fact, is that, one of the best things about Sanctuary is that every day is a celebration in somebody's religion.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, we have an incredible holiday calendar.
Do you have a Kiss a Frog Day?
I look at you and I say, "Do you have Kiss a Frog Day?"
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I don't know everything about all the religions, but so if there's a particular religion that does that, then I'm sure that we do have a Kiss a Frog Day. So it might be labeled under something else, like some other holiday that is related to, let's say, a saint or something, and the way you show it is you kiss a frog. I mean, I know there's a lick a frog day. and that's the you know, but that's a little different.
Yeah.
The frogs in question are hallucinogenic.
Okay. Well, I guess once we get there, we can have a little sit down with your leadership.
Leaders? Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I know you're all from the same location, but do you actually want to stay together when you get there, or do you want like your own space? Because we've had
Well,
that happen too, where okay.
We might not want to like stay in the same room, but we certainly want to be next to each other. Maybe in adjoining rooms or something.
Okay. We'll see what we could do. Maybe in the same wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Did they take our weapons and stuff like that?
Anything that was strapped to you is probably still strapped to you, but it's also strapped down.
So,
okay.
I just curious.
If you got like a knife inside of an inside piece or something like that, you feel like you might be able to reach it, but whether you'd be, you are all like kind of cocooned on these stretchers.
All righty.
I say, how does taxation and paying for rooms work here?
Well,
is gold valuable?
Gold is decorative. Your basically your the currency that you use is your time. Okay, everybody's expected to allot, and everything is paid for in portions of time.
Interesting.
By our equivalent of a central computer. So, you have like debit type devices and things like that. So
I see.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Water.
we've had and I'll say that it's a little more it's probably a little more dangerous in Sanctuary than it is in New Jerusalem, because everybody doesn't believe exactly the same thing, and there's not constant being surrounded by proctors, and everybody looking over your shoulder about everything that you're doing, especially if you're a young person like myself, which none of you are. So, but I'm just saying that it's so I'm not saying that you're old. I mean, I'm sure you're very old, young. You're very young compared to probably most of the people you know, but maybe not. I don't know. You said you're in this other place. New Jerusalem people live to be a very ripe old age.
I see.
Bruce, question related to this. Have they discovered that being a fringe traveler affects your aging yet?
Talking about IDET, no, they haven't.
Okay, so
because it's the early campaign. That sort of information really doesn't get revealed until the middle, when they've had more time.
Yeah.
See things like old people not dying and actually getting healthier.
I've only been doing it for like a year or so.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, a lot of what you consider to be like, any betterment of your physicality can be attributed just to having a very active lifestyle. So, Okay, so and then
I ask, do you have libraries or maybe even like video libraries?
We yes, of course we do. We have massive amounts of information media of all types, and the and we also have a large a large amount of art and culture and music, especially with all these different religions trying to maintain their cultural heritage. So people are encouraged to do so, and there's concerts all the time. So does that answer your question?
I suppose.
Very
Yes.
much so.
Okay. All right. You see our eyes roll up, or all the people that are cutting, their eyes kind of roll up for a second, like they're reading something. It's okay. We are almost there. Now, don't worry. You won't feel anything when we stop. It's just we'll be there. Okay. Yeah. These are very, these are very strongly controlled by instrumentalities, and so the acceleration will be perceptible. The most you might hear might be a slight amount of hissing when the atmosphere equalizes with what's inside here with Sanctuary.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so you get there. They they confer with each other and says, okay, well, everybody except for your friend here that you call Gandalf, he needs some more he needs more care. But we'll the rest of you we're going to release you now. Is that all right?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Bruce,
Okay. Yes.
question: is there a word in our language for antibiotics?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a word for, I don't know, let me think, anesthesia?
Yeah.
MRI?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And probably a lot of other words that you don't even know yet.
Yeah.
They're just sitting latent in your brain because you haven't seen all the new things. All right. Anyway, so Joan goes and looks at you, Mike, and all of a sudden the filaments that are all over you just kind of retract back inside the gurney, and she stands up and she says, can you try to stand up?
Yeah.
Mike, I can't hear you.
Nope.
Oh.
You're
Am
still
I able to
muted.
get up, Bruce?
I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So the filaments retract on the gurney.
Right.
Okay. Am I able to get up? I'm unstable. Do I have to make a roll?
No, if you're willing to get up, you can get up.
All right. Yeah.
It
Okay. I'm
hurts.
up. I'm up.
It hurts
It sounds
because they haven't given you any kind of like painkillers or anything like that.
Oh man.
And which may surprise you because if you were in an ambulance, they probably would have given you something.
Something. Yeah. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm.
They grabbed my bag that I asked them to get.
If you asked them to get it, then
I did.
They did. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
I will.
Yeah,
I will
I'm
tentatively get up too if they unwrap me.
Okay.
Ooh,
not feeling
that's sore.
100%.
Okay. All right. They go and two of them basically go and reached over. The two girls go and on either side of Gandalf reached over to his gurney and literally lifted up like it's nothing. There's nothing underneath. Yeah, and they actually and they start the doctors are waiting to start working on you, Mr. Gandalf. Do you consent to having people examine the inside of your body? You're going to have to unmute. Yeah.
Is it going to be invasive, as in surgical?
It might be, depending upon what they need to do to fix you. However, initially, no, they're just going to scan your body. But I mean, we don't want to cause a privacy issue.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You probably had basic medical training.
Do you have any allergies to anything that you want us to be aware of?
None.
Great. Do you have all your teeth?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any implants in your body anywhere that might be affected by diagnostic machines?
No.
Great. Okay. Well, let's get to it. And they basically start. They basically start jogging away, with you, and it's really strange because they're moving, but your gurney is not moving. Their arms are going up and down, as necessary, but the gurney itself is completely flat. You feel like you're just gliding along.
Anti-gravity. Cool.
Okay. Anyway,
he's sailing away.
It looks like one of those weird things that they did with the Boston Dynamic robots, where no matter what the robot did, the cup of water in his hand didn't move. Yeah, that's like that. All right, so
gyro stabilized.
Yeah, so you're zipping along, and they basically run out of sight, and that leaves the other three. Beatrice, Anthony, and Patrick, who's basically moving along with you. Patrick is going to take up the rear behind you guys. Anthony is going to kind of be in the middle to give to anybody who wants like a steadying hand. He can help you. Okay, and Beatrice is leading, and she's like, "Well, welcome to Sanctuary." Says the only as far as we know, free city, on Earth. I want you to know that everybody is excited about you being here, and the entire city is aware of your arrival. So, but everybody is going to respect your privacy and, of course, your deceleration from New Jerusalem into our society. So everyone's basically keeping to themselves, but you don't be surprised when you have when you get put onto the messaging service that there may be quite a few messages, mostly well-wishing, but there might be other people giving you opportunities to do many things, including join their religion. I'm going to warn you that since you are from an outside area, that information has not been transmitted to the population at large. So once it happens, I would not be surprised if you get offers of marriage.
I say to the
no
party.
Have any comment on that? Okay, all right. Sorry.
I say to the party in English. All this stuff sounds just like what everybody everybody at IDET gets in their messaging.
Yeah, actually, you're right. You're right.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're let out, and basically you come out onto a large kind of a staging area. You can see that there's more of these kinds of pods that you are in, and which are of course much larger than the space you are in, and they're on on they're on track. But the interesting thing that you're seeing is that a number of these pods seem to be supported and or moving as a result of these filaments that seem to be coming out of parts of the pod and also from the ceiling and the wall. It's like it's almost like webbing, except it's much more light reflective. So it's really more like tinsel. And there's some people that are actually up on top of some of these things, and they're kind of supported by an exoskeleton that kind of looks like Doc Ock from the Marvel comics.
Okay.
So like they have this like exoskeleton that's attached to them, which allows them to move up and down and around and things like that. So, and they've got like some kind of high tech. Remember that arm piece? The super glove tool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mechanics
they
thing.
have things that you see things that make you say that looks a lot like what I have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So anyway, they lead you over. There's you see a bunch of older people who wearing a number of different outfits. They actually look. Some are wearing robes. Some are wearing other people are wearing what looks to be like woven type things. Some male and female. You can tell. You basically assume that these are representations of some of the religions that they believe in, and so they're wearing some of the ceremonial dress of those. All right, and so and so they lead you up to them. At which point, some of them fall to their knees and say, "Oh God in heaven, thank you for allowing these people to join us. Thank you for this blessing." And other people are saying things in languages that you don't understand. Other people are saying things that one person is actually saying things that sounds like gas. It's like a ton of different languages that and altogether there's a total of maybe a random number here. Oh God, that's a lot. There's like there's almost 100 people here, and they just come up around you, and they're just they're looking at you and they're peering at you, and they're like wonderment on their faces, So, and at which point they kind of start encroaching on you a little bit. Some of them are trying to reach out and touch you, and that's when Jones like, no, remember, he says you're here because because you won the lottery, okay, but no touching, not without permission. They'll put on, they'll wear their permission bands, but they haven't had a chance to get them. And once you know, then you'll know what to do. Because permission bands basically allow other people to see what kind of interactions you're willing to do, like whether someone can speak to you, whether someone, whether you can be touched, whether anything gender specific, age specific, whether you need to be addressed in a certain language, things like that. And of course, if you have any preferences, that you can also use it to encourage people to do certain things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What lottery?
And we did a lottery of people of the leaders, of each of the groups here, and so some of them won the lottery, which meant that they could be the first people to meet you. That's
Okay.
quite an honor. We don't get strangers every day.
So this is our ticker tape parade.
It looks at you and says, "Do you want a ticker tape parade?"
No,
thank
I
you.
just comparing it to one.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
She's like, look, she's, mumbling something into her little microphone that's up next to her mouth, and looking up around. Oh, yeah, great. Like when they toss streamers from the rooftops of buildings down on people on flatbed vehicles below. And that's right.
Mike looks at Jason and kind of sub vocalizes. So what kind of permissions are you going to allow?
I don't know.
Okay. You may pat
Well,
him on the head.
is there anything you're going to not allow? Because it's kind of,
Being touched.
Yeah.
They seem to have high tech. I say to the party, maybe I guess it was to be in English. They have words for things like anesthesia and antibiotics. So I think they have pretty good medical technology here.
Yeah, I think their medical technology surpasses ours. I mean, a lot of their technology surpasses ours. So
It's certainly at least as futuristic as yours.
Well, considering this is
Uh,
1950, like we thought.
Sure.
no.
Yeah, it was it looks like it was sort of like that when they abandoned it, but they abandoned the cities hundreds of years ago.
Yeah,
So,
20 bits
200
they
years.
abandoned the city.
so
Right.
the technology is like on the flying saucers that we found almost.
Yeah, maybe
I think
beyond
that's
that.
the flying saucers and the ships on that messed up world with all the trees and such seem to be, I think, the only things we found that are as high technology as this. I mean, maybe some of the things that IDET is studying from the desert world, but who knows how those things work.
I concur.
Okay. So, anyways, so everyone is like, pushing in, and some people are jostling each other, but then you're hearing a few curt words, like someone's like waving an armband, and everyone pulls back from them. So it's kind of like, it looks like they've actually intentionally put a whole bunch of people that don't want to be touched as a barrier between the rest of the crowd and you. So they're all walking
Okay.
around like with their fists up in the air, shaking their armbands. Some of them have armbands go all the way up their wrist, to their elbows.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
They got a lot of stuff going on in those armbands.
Don't touch me.
I like these people.
Okay.
Mm.
Anyway, so they lead you on to basically a big open, basically like it's like a big bus with no walls or top. Okay, like
A big
like
butt with no walls.
bus. Okay,
Bus.
Yeah,
Okay,
bus.
I'm like
Bus.
trying to picture a butt with no walls. I'm like,
right. Okay,
It's called a flatbed.
Like a flatbed.
Yeah, it's like a flatbed. Okay, uh, and basically it's like got rows of seats on it, and so you guys are on a raised section in the middle. Okay, so you're like, and then everybody else is around you. Okay, and at which point they so Jones says okay. Are you ready for the big tour, or is that going to be
Yes.
too much?
It's
Out of game, Bruce. How long since we've eaten?
You were flying for quite a while. You could have snacked as you were flying. This has only been like a
Okay.
half hour since the crash.
Okay.
The
All right.
crash
Very
happened
good.
very shortly after you got to
But
Copenhagen.
we were in the webs though. They had us web 2 or something.
Not very long.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Very good then.
So, I
right.
mean, it could have been an hour ago. It could have been much longer, depending upon when you decided to eat last when you were flying over here. It was quite a long time to fly over.
Okay.
Yeah, it
All
was
right.
like 4
But,
hours in the air. So
yeah,
All right. Yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah. We'd like to get some food and maybe get some sleep before we start the tour.
It says it stands up and says, "Sorry, folks, but our new visitors want to delay the tour of Sanctuary for until they can get some sleep. Apparently, their journey here was very tiring, and of course, I'm sure they're also very interested in finding out about their friend who's in the hospital."
Yes.
So,
yes.
I say, what do you guys eat here anyway? Like, do you subsist on like plankton, or do you have livestock and crops?
okay. We eat anything. We definitely eat lots and lots of fruits and vegetables and other types of things. We have most of the I mean the larger animals basically died off a long time ago. You should know this. Maybe not. So most of the animals are 2 or 3 feet tall. Okay, and there's lots that are smaller.
So Korean.
So,
kidding.
And,
What?
yeah. Right. However, there are many dishes that have been recreated using alternate materials. Okay, and
Beyond meats.
And and based upon the creators and the people who ate them, it tastes just like it used to. So, is there some particular food that you're used to and it existed before you went into your vault?
There sort of is.
It'll exist. You can have it.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, the people that way are listening to this, and they're all like, "Really?" I mean, they're like you. No, they were hoping to eat like a large animal, like a cow maybe, or an antelope, or even an elephant. You were like, "Oh, we're intelligent."
So they're starting to realize we're not from around here.
Well, they know we're not from around here.
Yeah.
Well, they know we're not from Jerusalem City, though.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that a lot of information is they don't know yet. All they know is that they got in contact with some people and they were asked, and these they're assuming that you are the people that got into contact with them.
Yeah.
Well, we are, but
anyway, so he says, okay, well, so we're going to take them over to the, you know, to the education center, to the campus, and let them adjust. So, but I'm sure that I'm sure that you'll be giving lots of reports to everybody and your followers about what you know so far, and we of course will be releasing information. And of course, soon they'll have their own channels, and they'll be able to make their own announcements. So we'll be giving a general announcement about that. So keep checking your general feed. They're all like, oh. So they all get up and they just start murmuring, and they walk off in down various passageways and tunnels. Okay. Well, we don't need this big thing now. Hold on a second. I'm gonna call up a smaller vehicle and see, basically says, mutter something into her microphone and says, okay, about 30 seconds later, you see basically the equivalent of a minibus without sides or top comes scampering in. I mean, it's got little legs like a millipede, and tiny silvery legs that's holding up this platform, and as it comes over and it sets itself down, and all the filaments are underneath it, and it's okay, come on, hop in.
Okay.
You notice that these things don't have seat belts or anything like that. They do have like side rails on the outside, just so that you don't accidentally lean over and fall out of the thing. So
cool.
Anyway, so you get into the thing, and it just basically lifts itself up and spins around and takes off down one of the tunnels, and off you go. So, and you see a whole bunch of side passageways and things like that, and you notice that there doesn't seem to be any kind of labeling or anything like that. They just seem to be fairly nondescript tunnels, and you see other, vehicles and other things going hither and yon, and occasionally somebody will, walk across the tunnel ahead of you, and and then you arrive at a room that's basically about the size of a sports arena. Okay, and he says, okay, so this is this is the university, and as they roll in there, you hear this big huge cheer, and you see that the entire place is filled with people, mostly young people. Okay, but there's a few that are older, scattered in and out, and they're all clapping and cheering and yelling, this is welcome, and apparently they all think that you're from New Jerusalem. Anyway, and they're all just basically cheering and stuff like that, and no one's throwing any confetti at you because no one got told that. So, but they're all waving like little pennants and other types of strange things like big hands, with
big foam hands.
Big foam hands, yeah. With showing different symbols, yeah, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so like waving and you guys, I like to wave.
I do the Richard Nixon peace signs.
Yeah.
Yo, what up?
All the dicks know
Thank
that.
you, Chicago.
Yeah. But all the dicks and Dick and Jane. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're good at not doing that. Man. Thank you, America. Anyways, so you go from this out into some, more titles, and you end up in a large, basically, it, uh, it, you basically go in, and it's like there's a big room full of houses and various things like that, big screens. The big screen basically has stuff graffiti on it saying, just now, he says, the visitors, from the outside arrived, at Sanctuary, University Stadium, and, there, and it says all the people, and so all you people just kind of looking around with your mouths again, wearing your
What
strange
the
clothing.
hell?
They wear different clothing too, but there did seem to be a bit of a theme going on, like they were expected to wear something akin to a uniform, at the university.
Okay.
But anyway, so so there's
Plaid skirts and white shirts.
right. Okay. Probably I haven't even thought about it. You want that to be it?
I was just, you said uniforms, and when I think of school uniforms, that's what I think of. So
okay, well, we can do that. Yeah, they're all wearing white shirts and plaid skirts, including the guys.
That's a little weird.
Okay.
Hey,
No,
that's their
They're
style.
called kilts.
It's not a
Yes.
skirt. It's
They're
a
called
Mike
kilt.
having elementary school flashbacks.
It's not a kilt. It's a Scottish dress.
It's
Yeah.
not a skirt. It's a kilt.
Right. Anyway, so they okay, so they're all right. So a couple of people come out, and they're definitely older, and they say, okay, all right, first question, is there anybody here who wants to room together?
Cricket.
I don't know about anybody else. As I said, separate rooms that are next to each other would be fine with me.
We've slept in a vehicle together, so I mean,
Doesn't really matter
it's
to us.
pretty much. I don't care.
Are any of you married to each other in any collective way?
Just
No,
Chen Wei
Oh, no.
and Mike.
no.
Well, thanks, Jason.
You're welcome.
Okay, so separate rooms for everybody. Okay, that's fine.
If that's doable.
Oh yeah, it's completely doable.
Okay.
All
I
right.
don't want to put you out or anything.
Their population is lower than it was in the past, so they probably have a lot of rooms.
Well, we need to find out when this started compared to the great religious purge of everyone. So,
Right.
True.
So yes, you will. We're going to put you in. Do any of you have difficulty going up and?
no, we're all
Okay.
quite mobile.
None of you have any difficulty going up and down stairs. Okay,
No.
fine. Do any
not
of you
anymore, no.
do any of you require assistive devices of any kind?
I look to our person with the hearing aid.
Might want to redefine that definition of assistive devices, please.
I'm talking about something that's necessary for you to function, either like that's like has like an imperfection of the senses, or has like one limb shorter than the other, or has a spinal problem, or has a weakness in the musculature.
Mike's wearing glasses, and I say
I have a
Angel has a cochlear implant.
And if Chen Wei doesn't get sake every hour, he goes bananas.
Yeah.
It doesn't get what?
He goes bananas if he doesn't have a drink of sake every hour.
Why
you're
would I
drunk,
drink
master?
sake?
And,
Why would I drink sake?
as I said, and is going bananas a bad thing?
To him, yes.
Well,
I say that they're making a bad joke.
it is a joke. I am joking. It is a
Going
joke.
bananas. What an interesting turn of phrase.
Jocularity.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting this back on.
Well, then, as if you do have these issues, it sounds like you already have some kind of accommodation for it.
Yes.
We're all
Well,
quite hale.
you may decide that you wish to make adjustments to that as you stay with us, okay, and to integrate into our grand society.
Okay.
So he says, come this way, and
Walk this way.
and he basically walks up the stairs in front of you, and you see she does it. You see that she's using a handrail on the side to steady herself.
Okay.
Some people are infirm, I see.
Yeah, well, she
I
seems to
definitely
be
use a handrail.
energetic, but just something
I
about
always use the
going up the
handrail.
stairs somehow she seems to be having a little bit of a problem with.
I always use
Yeah.
handrails.
Yeah. Anyway, so you go up to the second floor, at which point, and then you go up to the third floor, at which point she goes and says, "Okay, it's on this wing here on the right hand side, you have it all to yourself."
Okay.
Well, thanks.
All right. There's a total of 20 rooms, and they are some of them are decorated by their previous inhabitants. But if there's any, so feel free to remove anything that you find offensive or is in the way of any decorating you wish to do, and I will give you some time alone. And there is a monitor in each of your rooms, a display screen, so that you can and I will communicate to you when the next meal is.
May I ask, and I don't want you to take offense to this, but which means it's probably going to be offensive. Do you monitor us while we're in our rooms?
We only monitor your biological signs.
Okay, so
we don't like, we don't record your conversations or like view any documents that you might be displaying, or nor do we keep your search histories or anything that you might be doing. Though right now you don't have the ability to do that, the search histories and things like that. This is just the initial setup. Okay. So
Okay.
all right. So anyway, I think I think you can find your room at this point. When you get there, when you walk inside, shut the door and put your hand on the hand plate on the inside, and then the door will be keyed to you, and it will only be openable by you or anybody else that you allow to key to the plate on the other side. So if you put your hand on one side while someone is putting their hand on the other side, then you are accepting them as access to your room.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. If you don't want that, then you just, you don't put your hand up on the door, and you can open the door from your side. But if you, that's especially, to make sure that, that the system, the recognizes that room is yours.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. I will let you know when. How much time do you people need to get ready for a meal?
Give us a couple hours.
No, I mean before you
Oh.
actually go to the meal. How long does it take you to get ready?
Not a lot of time. Like I'm assuming we're not like asleep and need to get dressed and turn on the lights and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, how much can you?
Well,
can you
turning
give
on
me
the lights is not fit.
Can
It's not
you
slow.
give me a number of minutes
30
Let's,
minutes
or
would be
hours
fine.
as necessary?
I was gonna say, let's do an hour warning.
Sure.
That's a lot.
All right.
It doesn't really take an hour, but
Okay.
sure.
Well, I will
An
be
hour.
Maybe you
calling
might want to do her hair.
You
I'll be
clearly
calling you,
can.
and this will not. This will just be a display. I won't be looking at you. Okay. In an hour before the next meal.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Which is
Sounds
currently 8 hours from now.
All right.
Oh, it's 8 hours from now? I don't think we'll need to worry about it then.
Well, I just want to make sure that you know, and I would, the rescue team probably has mentioned a few things about your permission. So you might really want to think about that, about what kind of permission you want to you want to revoke, basically. Okay. I mean, in technically in our society, as in the New Jerusalem, permission is has been assumed. Okay, so therefore you need to revoke permission.
Uh,
All right.
Mhm.
okay.
So, yeah. For example, okay, he points at one of the bands that he has on. This here means no public sex. Okay, and this one over here means uh, uh, I'm allergic to roses.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so therefore, if you wear something that smells like roses, um, or if you want to have sex with me, okay, it's don't, it's not something that you can just leap in and do in public.
Wow.
Okay,
Noted.
Good to
there's probably
know.
a lot. So, like I said, I just want you to think about these things. These are kind of extreme.
Okay.
And this is Patrick.
No, this is actually somebody entirely new.
Oh, okay.
This is one of the
Wow.
women.
Okay. Well, no attacking you in hallways. No. All right. Thank you. I will key my room to myself and the entire team because.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Talking to the party of what?
She says my name is Lauren. By the way,
Lauren.
Lauren.
Nice to meet you, Lauren.
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 Yes.
Is that with an F?
Lauren.
Floor.
It all sounds the same to me. So.
Oh, Lawrence.
Oy vey.
I'm gonna type it in the chat because apparently
Please
you can't
do.
understand me.
Yeah, I'm out of this.
I say if you say
right.
oy
All right.
vey, they're gonna think that's her name until you explain.
And that's a male name or a female name?
That's a female name, and she
Okay.
says, which is ironic,
Oh,
being
Florence.
that
I thought you said Lawrence.
it's ironic because I am allergic to roses.
First I thought you said Lauren, and then you said
I
you
know.
said Lawrence.
I was
Okay.
Okay.
using the F. Also, it's nice to meet you, Florence. My name is Angel.
Florence.
Like on the Jeffersons.
Florence Nightingale.
Yeah,
Like
I
Florence,
just your
Henderson.
sounds are just not anyway.
Okay. All right. So you go off to each of your rooms. Okay,
Right,
and
very good.
you go inside, and the rooms are pretty bare actually, except the floor is covered with what looks to be like squirming um, uh, little worms,
What?
like squirming little worms of various colors. I mean, different rooms have different colors.
Actual worms or like mechanical worms?
No, what? How would you tell the difference?
I'm gonna poke them.
I don't know.
Are they
Are they
moving?
made of metal? You know? Are they painted?
They're day glow colors. They look like they're plastic, maybe.
So like we're walking on gummy worms?
Yeah, yes, it's very much like walking on gummy worms when you
I'm
go
definitely
inside.
not going to be
Except
walking on.
they're squirming.
Not,
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
and they
I'm poking
squirm
Hey
over
guys,
they squirm
I
over
think
your
there's
shoes.
something wrong with my room.
I think that's in all of them. Is it is it worm-looking things?
Yeah.
I'm poking the ones on my floor.
What are you poking them with?
My finger.
Okay.
Just gonna
They
poke
they
them.
curl around your finger and
Hello.
and grab it just a little bit, but you can easily pull your finger free.
Why?
If it wants to come with me, I'll let it. I'm going, hello.
Okay. They're actually attached to the floor,
Ah. So,
mostly.
I
Some are
signal
just some are just
our
kind of squirming around and stuff like that. Yeah,
they're
I
it's
signal our
cute.
keeper. I'll signal my keeper and go, "What's with the worms?"
or are you signaling your keeper?
Well, I don't know. I'm just like, "Hey!" I yell out in the hallway or something.
Okay.
They didn't give us a way to contact them,
Are
so
these things also on the floors in the hallway?
No, just in your
Oh.
room.
yeah. Did they tell us how to get in touch with them if we needed anything?
They said that they were going, they were just monitor. You sent an indication you wanted privacy, so they basically said they were only monitoring your physical things.
Okay, my physical is my stress level has gone up.
Okay.
beep, beep, beep.
And then you have Angel going, they're kind of cute.
Angel's always been a little weird though, so
I look at the worms on the floor and I say, things on the floor make me an ice cream cone.
make you an ice cream cone.
That nothing happens when you do that.
Okay,
If you're in the room, they are basically squirming all around your feet. And
I'm playing the floor as lava and trying to climb over things.
Yeah, up to about lower calf, about maybe 6 inches. You're kind of wading through them a little bit.
To my lower calf?
Lower,
oh my
yeah,
god!
You're kind of wading through these things.
Maybe you to your heel or.
I'm
Holy
not
shnikey.
going in the room. I'm standing in the hallway still.
Lower calf is pretty high.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of this.
Yeah. Like like that far down to the bottom. But like that is, yeah.
Ankle deep in worms.
Yeah.
Yeah, like once again, I don't actually go in the room. I'm standing out in the hallway looking in, going,
And
are you seeing what I'm seeing?
And they're slightly warm, by the way.
Oh, I didn't touch them yet.
Well, some people have.
I have. Just
Mike,
I'm calling
what's your
you
reaction
cute.
I miss the summers.
I say, the things on the floor, give me an instruction manual.
Chen Wei, I don't think that's
for
how
the
that
things on the
works.
floor.
They just wiggle.
Okay.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I go to the monitor. I say, monitor, get me an instruction manual for the things on the floor.
Nothing happens.
Does it
Oh,
have an
use
on
the mouse.
switch?
Computer.
Ah.
Use
Does it
the-
have an on switch?
What, the monitor?
Yeah,
Yes.
I turned it on.
Okay, it was on.
Oh,
He turns the screen
I
on.
try help. I type in help.
There's no place to type in help.
Oh, you can't type in. You got to talk to it then.
It's just a monitor.
So you don't have computers available to us. Okay.
Maybe they do. Maybe they just haven't given you the access to it yet.
I say, even though
Ah.
people are,
You aren't going to have access to searches and stuff.
I say, even though people will joke about it, I say, computer, turn on.
Turn me on,
What's-
dead man. Turn me on, dead man.
Okay.
I'm laying down out in the hallway.
Okay, you're just standing there looking.
You're
No, I'm
chicken.
laying down in the hallway.
Oh, you're going to lay down in the hallway. Okay, fine. You lay down.
That room creeps me out.
Yeah.
What? Not
Okay.
a fan of what? Not a fan of worms?
Yeah, there's also like a desk in there, and there's a chair, and there's a bed. Okay.
Can I
and
play
there's,
floor is lava and climb over the furniture to get to the
Yeah.
bed?
You can.
Okay, I play floor is lava and I don't try not to touch the floor.
Okay. Yeah, you can pull out drawers, on the things next to the door and
I do.
climb up and then jump over onto the bed.
I
Okay.
play floor is lava to the bed.
All right. You jump onto it, and it gives slightly, but other than that, seems like it's made out of memory foam.
Let's go, Gray.
But
As long
it
as it's not
doesn't-
made out of worms.
yeah, it's when you get there, the room, the air in the room starts blowing stronger, and the room starts lowering in temperature.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, you guys can. There are some things up on some of the walls. Like I said, it looks like some things have been tipped up there. Some of them are and some are religious. Some of them have to do with slogans. Some of them have to do with some themes.
Go worms!
There's nothing about worms.
Nothing on the worms.
Is there anything which has a computer instructions, like Wi-Fi password is so-and-so, or?
No.
Just thought of like when you're in a hotel room, it says for help, dial 9. Is there a phone or anything or some sort of communication device?
There is not, because again, they told you that they weren't going to do any of that stuff. Okay, so
So we're just here for 8 hours with.
You're there for 8 hours.
Nothing to do.
Well,
we can talk to each other about what we're going to do on this world.
Concept of you being in a new place.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the floor will be made out of worms would have been a nice start, but
just to make Jason
okay.
move, I'm gonna go visit his room.
All right.
He left the door
Okay,
open.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce. Okay, Mike. Sees the worms. Says, "I've stayed in a lot worse dumps than this."
Oh, what's so funny?
Walks, wades through the worms. I don't step on them. Don't know what the
you
hell
have
I'll
to.
do if I step on them. I can sort of drag my feet along the floor, sort of push them out of the way, sort of wade through the worms. When I finally get to the bed, get up on the bed, and take my get ready for bed, get into the bed, and go to sleep.
Well, I was going to give you some ibuprofen for your bumps and bruises.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I've had
All right.
worse.
Wade
You
through the
got enough worm
worms.
problem. You've got enough problems.
Wade through the worms, children.
Wade through the worms. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
What do you do with your clothing?
Oh, that's a good question.
I
Put it on
wad
a
it up and put
desk.
it under on the bed.
Is there a dresser?
Um,
Is there a nightstand? Are there drawers?
well, I mean, there next to the door. There is a closet, like an armoire, and next to
Okay.
it there is like a small set of drawers which has the monitor on top of it, and then there is
I
there are
Open the top. Okay.
there are some other tables. There's also a desk with a chair.
All right.
Uh,
All right. What I do is I put my boots on top of the dresser, open the top drawer of the dresser, and toss all my clothes into the top drawer
okay.
from the bed.
Give me a nose check.
Well, what kind of check do you want?
notice. Is there a bathroom connected to our rooms?
There is.
Yeah.
Do I have to go through the worms
Okay.
to get to it, or can I position
Yeah.
a chair to step on it?
No worms. Yeah.
You could, if you really want to, you could probably go and get on a chair and then grab the chair and just kind of try to pop it across the floor into the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh,
Is there
that's a
worms
lot
on the
of fun.
floor in the bathroom?
No.
Okay, I will step down into the bathroom and utilize facilities.
Okay.
Very good.
Do they
I
have
rolled a
normal
7.
facilities?
Yeah, do they
Yeah.
have like flush toilets and plumbing?
That one's for washing your backside.
It looks like it is a European composting toilet. So there's only a little bit of water in it.
Okay, but there's no seashells, right?
There are some buttons. Yeah.
Okay.
Jason
Alright.
sounds traumatized.
Okay, Bruce, I rolled.
There's a joystick and there are a couple buttons.
A joystick.
Joystick.
Oh, this is the Roman style toilets with sponge on a stick.
Yep.
Anyway, what did you roll?
Oh my god!
I rolled a 7 on the notice check. Okay, go ahead.
And I thought Greece was bad.
Right.
Rolled a 7 on the notice check, Jason.
Okay.
Bruce.
Okay. You notice that your boots are very clean.
It's the worms.
So the worms are cleaning our boots.
Interesting. Okay. All right. All right. I get out of the bed, take the clothes, and put them on top of the worms. And
Okay.
get back into bed, and then talk to the party.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. Everybody's still awake. Everyone's still not traumatized.
How's the worms?
I waded through the worms with my boots on. All the muck and mud we got over the day, gone.
I made friends with the worms.
My boots are nice and clean now.
Nice. Jason?
My dog tags and my boots are nice and shiny and everything.
Mr. Traumatized over there?
So apparently these worms clean clothes.
Is there a shower?
There's not.
Just lie down in the worms. They'll clean you, Jason.
There's not a shower?
No.
Bathtub?
No.
I'm laying in
Sink?
the worms.
There is a sink. There's a
I
sink
guess
in a
you're
mirror.
expected to lie in the
Angel
worms
comes
to
one
get
with the
cleaned
worms.
off.
I'm laying in the worms. They're my friends.
You're laying in the worms?
I'm laying in the
Okay.
worms.
they squirm all over you, and as far as they can reach inside your clothing and such.
I have no fear when it
very,
comes to critters.
It's very. Are you ticklish?
Extremely.
You're probably going to have trouble with that.
Well, I guess you won't have to use the bathroom now.
I will live with
tickles her
this.
toes, she pees.
Yep.
I will live with this.
But,
It's fun.
Good thing I have wet wipes.
It feels like you're getting a full body massage. You're having no trouble breathing, Angel. It's not like they're squirming over your body, but they're not like blocking your breath or anything like that.
Relaxing then.
Okay.
Just as soon as over calms, you hear just Angel giggling. Mike has already said that she needs help, so
Mute.
Someone's
You're
having
going,
fun.
oh my God, I love this room.
yeah, I'm going. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's stupid,
Okay.
but I love it.
Okay.
Something amusing.
So are we gonna actually gather in one of our rooms to talk about what's going on here? I guess it would be in the corridor since we have one person in the corridor.
No,
or you can meet in somebody's room. Yeah. There are actually more rooms here than you need, so you could actually designate another room to be like a meeting room, separate from your personal room.
We could also just transmit over comms.
Or you can just talk to each other over comms.
Yep.
All right. So let me before you do that, if you want to put some stuff in chat, go ahead. But I want to go back to Gandalf, who's been very patient.
Okay. All right.
Gandalf, you get whipped into some very high tech facility. Do you have any knowledge, healing, skill in healing, or in technology, or anything like that? Is he still there?
He's muted.
No. Gandalf.
Yeah, I'm pulling up his character sheet.
Yes, go for it. What?
Oh, here he is. All right, go ahead.
Good. So you've been whisked off into a high-tech facility of some kind, and I asked you if you had any skill in first aid or in
technology.
I'm looking.
Oh, there's my pen.
No.
Okay. Well, then you see a whole lot of people standing around gesturing. It would probably remind you of people that were using VR. If your character has never played games like that.
Okay.
Okay, except they have these visors in front of their faces, so they can, you can still see their faces inside. And they basically take you over to basically a big long line of machinery, and they essentially set you down in the front of it, and the gurney you're on basically, well, actually they take you off that, and they put you on to another one. It's more like a sling, like a hammock. They basically put you into that, asking you, does this hurt? Can we pick you up? And
everything hurts.
You give them permission?
Yes.
Okay. So when they see how much pain you're in, one of them goes and comes over and injects you with something, and within 15 seconds, basically all the pain goes away in your body.
Whoa.
Okay, you're still you're still aware. I mean, it's not like you're doped up. It's just like, okay, and it doesn't happen like instantly. It's sort of like you just feel it fade away.
Okay.
Okay.
I do
All
have
right.
danger sense, so how does that work?
Well, it didn't. You didn't feel like you were in danger, so it didn't trigger.
Okay.
Okay. And at which point he said, "Do you feel better now?"
Much.
Okay, great. If you do start feeling pain again, or if you feel any kind of numbness or tingling in any of your extremities or anywhere, really, uh, do let us know, right? Okay. So we're basically gonna put you inside this long machine that's going to do a full examination of you.
I,
But
I,
are you claustrophobic?
I kind of turned my head to look at the machine a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Does it look big enough for my shoulders to fit in?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I
Okay.
am I am not claustrophobic, no.
Oh, great. Okay. All right. In that case, we'll get you started. So, like I said, they put you in there. They take the side thing, basically snap into a slot on the top side of the scanner. Okay, and you start getting slowly moved through the tunnel. It's lit. You're not in darkness. Okay. And if that causes you to be claustrophobic, then you should tell them. And you just slowly start moving along, and you hear them, you hear someone saying to you, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Right. And it seems like they're right next to you, though you know they can't be right next to you because you're in this hammock. You're in a tunnel inside of a machine. But it sounds that way.
How am I hearing you so clearly?
Oh, it was in the shot.
What was in the shot?
It's just a basic cortical um, uh, uh, tra- transmission package.
Long-term effects?
Well, we give them to babies. No one's had a problem with it up till now. It's self-replacing, at least here.
Okay. So I am permanently in your communications. Um,
Yeah, this is a very basic communication thing. Like I said, we give them to babies so that the baby can talk to its mother, and and people that are for one reason or another infirm that they can't communicate by normal means. So it's very, very basic. We can hear what you have to say. You can hear what we have to say, and and all you have to do is just say sound off, and it'll stop working, and just say sound on, and you'll be able to hear us. It won't affect your normal hearing at all.
okay.
Okay. All right. It's also the reason why you're not feeling any pain right now.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's in your brain. So the pain impulses are not reaching the reasoning parts of your brain. And he says, this is like, you seem like this is totally new to you. You didn't have this where you came from?
No.
Okay. Well, congratulations. You have the rights and privileges of a newborn.
Now you can eat mush.
Well, don't worry about it. Since you are an adult, if you'd like any particular music to listen to, we can type that in. This is going to take about 35 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, and at which point then we'll start actually providing treatment if necessary.
Okay.
All right.
And I will give them a list of music.
Well, hopefully it's something old because they otherwise won't have it.
Yeah.
Fruit Bridge
Queen,
Boys.
Queen, AC/DC, Zeppelin.
Right. Okay. Well, they start typing basically Bach and Beethoven.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and because you said Queen, some English royal march. Like I said, anytime you don't want to hear it, you just take sound off. Just remind you of that.
I'll listen.
Okay. All right. So a lot of it is stuff you've heard before. There will be some things that you don't recognize, but some of it's definitely going to be familiar to you.
Right.
All right. So anyway, so again, at the end of 35 minutes, you basically at about 30 minutes, you start popping out the other end, and you just basically slide onto another kind of gurney thing, and which is apparently very slippery. You just kind of just slide onto it, no trouble, and at which point you the guy who's talking to you is just by the way, I'm Dr. Theory. I'm your doctor.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Gandalf, the patient.
Well, I'm glad we sorted that out. I am a trauma surgeon. Though we don't have a whole lot of need for that usually, fortunately. But when people come in from the outside, it's assumed that they may have significant injury due to the rigors of escaping from the New Jerusalem. So anyway, so I must say that you are very interesting. These are very interesting scans. You seem to be someone who's gone through a number of minor injuries. Have you ever had surgery before?
No.
Okay. All right. There's no indication of any implants or mechanical hybridization. or anything like that. Your cholesterol is higher than I would like it to be, and you'll be happy to know that you're not pregnant.
Well, that's a relief. I'll just have to tell my wife that.
And you don't have any venereal disease,
nope.
as far as I can tell. Anyway, so you're actually in an excellent condition for your 80s, but you, as I say, you have had you do have a number of bruises, muscle tears, some twisting of some of your cartilage. There's some definitely some swelling of some of your organs. We would consider your condition to be serious because most people don't end up like that unless they fall off of something or whatever. So anyway, so what we're going to do is that we're going to give
200 plus miles per hour impacting a set of webbing not being properly strapped in. Yeah, I guess that could quantify as.
Well, I don't think you hit any webbing. I think you probably hit the other parts of your vehicle.
Oh, I did. I'm talking about the vehicle hitting the webbing.
Oh, yeah.
Sudden deceleration.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's all right. Well, anyway, so what we're going to do is that we're going to basically put you into a supportive garment. Okay. And what it's going to do is that it's going to massage your body to make sure that your blood flow keeps going. It's going to have quite a few sensors inside of it. Okay, which is and we're going to have you swallow a couple of cameras, but they're just going to be small little cameras. Okay, and otherwise, I think you can go and join your fellow escapees.
Okay.
How's that sound? Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So,
what exactly will these cameras do?
Oh, they're going to observe for any abnormalities inside that we weren't able to pick up through just the normal scanning technique. Also, if there's like a sudden eruption of blood, you can start bleeding internally. They'll pick that up. They'll be tuned into your neuro and hormonal system to monitor only. If you do need any help, then we will dispatch somebody to you immediately. But it also will have an emergency button on it, so that if you feel like you're lightheaded or you're feeling bad, and you can basically just slap it, and it will automatically send a trauma team to you to make sure that you get aid as quickly as possible, because keeping people alive is our number one goal here. Okay. All right. So now, you're too young to need our geriatric unit, but this would probably be enough. Okay. We are going to have to remove all your clothing. I hope you don't mind.
As long as you don't have to cut it off, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. No, if you wish to show us how to remove it, we will take it off. We'll assist you in taking it off.
Okay. And I will instruct them on how to remove it.
Okay. All right. So then slide, your boots and socks and everything off until you're basically laying there naked. But there's nobody else in here except the staff. Okay, and most of them aren't even looking in your direction. there's a couple people that are over there with you right now, and so they and so what they do is that once you get all the clothing off, they slide you up onto another gurney, okay? At which point they start folding cloth all over your body. Very thin, gossamer thin cloth, okay? And as you look, you see you see the clothing begin to fuse together, more like it begins to ravel into each other, like it kind of like weaves itself together. And so you're basically covered, from around your head. Basically, you look like a the kids show. No, the kids show. With the televisions in the stomach.
A what?
It's the show that has like Poe and Lala and Teletubbies. It looks like you're wearing a Teletubby costume.
Oh dear God.
Okay.
He's Stinky Pinky.
And okay, at which point you and they and basically you feel a kind of a warmth flow all over you. Okay, and you feel this thing kind of twisting around a bit and getting tighter on your body and around your legs, and it's like you're wearing pantyhose if you or hose, like for theater or even thermal leggings, except it's all over your body. All right, and at which point they basically say, okay, so try this out.
Okay, as they're doing all that, he's going to be asking all sorts of questions about the material and stuff.
Okay.
This is new. What kind of material is this?
This is a blended nanofiber.
Nanofiber?
Yeah, it's each strand is like 100th the thickness of your hair, and it all weaves together to form this very complex system of protection and support.
Is this also like impact resistant?
Definitely.
Impressive.
We wouldn't want you to like fall down and hit yourself and get hurt, right?
True.
Yeah. And so if you could sit up, are you going to do it?
I'll sit up slowly.
Okay. You sit up slowly, and it's almost like you're floating up into a sitting position. You're doing it effortlessly. It doesn't feel like you're doing a sit up. It's almost like the room is rotating, except you realize that you're connected.
How is that happening?
Oh, it provides muscular assistance. It's kind of an exoskeleton, an exomusculature.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So if you ever as I said, if you feel weak, then you'll still be able to walk. But it's just there to protect you.
How long will I have to wear this?
Well, I would think I'd say a week, because your body still has to heal all that damage. Swelling has to go down, but we'll be monitoring it through the suit.
Okay.
And you will, it won't be a problem for you.
And when do I have to come back and see you, Doc?
Well, you don't have. I'll monitor it, from here, and I'll let you know when you need to come back. But I say it's going to be. I can't imagine it being less than a week.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we don't we want to be as least invasive as possible. So anyway, but like I said, you're and so he basically just goes and takes you and he says, put your arm, your hand on my arm, and now just try to lift up, okay? And you lift his arm up, and you can see him, straining somewhat. It feels light as a feather to you, but he's obviously exerting against it, seeing that, yeah, okay, so that's working. All right, and then he's okay, try to take my hands and try to move them to the right and then move them to the left, and he's going to be, you see him resisting that,
I'll do all the stuff that he says.
and this is just you're doing very likely, like, having no trouble doing this. Okay, so that's good. All right, so, all right, so we will be testing you on any neurological issues in the future where you won't have this assistive effect from the suit. So,
Okay.
but I'm saying for now, I think it's better to err on the side of support.
Understood.
All right. Well, let's get you back with your friend.
That would be appreciated.
So he basically says, "All right." So, and he basically takes your hand and walk, basically walk you over to the entrance to the trauma area, whatever, like that. And there's a little, basically, there's like a little flatbed scooter thing, and
Make sure I have all my stuff and.
oh, sure, they take all your stuff and they put it on the flatbed, all your clothing, your boots, any equipment that you had on your body, they'll put it there, okay. And then and somebody will come along with you. Basically, they're gonna, they're literally they're gonna sit next to you and put their arm around you. He says, do you have a preference for your aides to be male or female?
Female.
Female. Okay. All right. He says, okay. Then Katie, come in and basically monitor Mr. Gandalf until he gets to the university and gets together with his friends. Her mom, and she just stops doing what she's doing and just comes over and looks at you and says, "Yeah, that's a good fit for you." In time, so it's you're
Reacher in a skin tight bodysuit.
it's have to, yeah, and of dignity. Doesn't go up your ass crack, and it basically covers over the front of you, and it doesn't have nipples on it.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, like I said, it looks an awful lot like one of the Teletubbies outfits. Okay, so all right, so she says, okay, so come on and let's get you back with your people.
All right.
All right,
Let's go.
All right, so she goes and gets they say hands you up into the onto the. It's not the thing is flat on the ground, so you just can step onto it, sit down, okay, and then she
Right.
sits down next to you. puts her arm around you, okay, and says, if you feel any kind of dizziness or anything like that, let me know. Okay, I'm here to help you. So, and at which point, the thing basically rises up, flips around, and actually probably is already going in the right direction, and starts, gliding away to you. If you look down the side, you can see that, that there's occasionally a flash of silver coming from underneath it, and it just, you just go zipping down basically the direction that everybody went where they were for. Until finally you go to this very large place, all these seats, but and a couple people are still there, and they go, yeah, they're all like, yeah. And they're all cheering. Says, "Welcome, to Sanctuary." So it's but you basically you don't do the slow. They had this nice slow thing through it. You just got to zip through it, and
So,
and you notice that as you go along, he seems to be continuing to say things, like like you would do your sub vocalization. He seems to be doing that, and you see that there are things that are ghost-like images inside of her visor, that are showing up there. So she's apparently doing things while you're riding along with her. But to you don't see anything except the road ahead of you and around you. So you arrive there, and Florence comes out and says, "Oh, look at you. Um, uh, is all better?"
I feel a lot better.
I'm Florence. I'm your I'm your dorm mom. Okay. Your friends
Is she
are
an older
upstairs.
lady?
Like maybe.
Is Florence an older lady?
She looks to be in her early 40s.
Ah, okay.
Okay. And they're upstairs. And he says, "Katie, can you take him upstairs?" He says, "Sure, I guess." Okay. And at which point she says, "Okay, come on, you big guy." And
I'll gather my stuff up.
okay, and the just all right. Is there going to be a walk upstairs while carrying that stuff?
Yes.
Okay, there is a handrail on the side.
I'll use the handrail too.
Okay, all right. Well, if you need to, you can hand her some stuff to carry. All right, so she basically gets behind you and puts her hand in the middle of your back, just above your lower back. Says, "I'm right here." So, what floor is it? It's third floor. She says, "Yeah, making this poor guy go up 3 flights of stairs, 2 flights of stairs." He says, "Oh, why? Can he do it? Of course he can do it." If you look at it, it was an empty wing. "Oh," she said, "yeah, okay, I guess. Yeah, okay. Uh, want some isolation, huh? Okay. All right. Well, let's get back to your friend." And so she starts, pressing against your back. Says, "Go ahead and just start walking up. You'll be fine." And you walk up these stairs like it's effortless. I mean, it's literally, it's like, you feel light as a feather going up the stairs. You feel like you could probably, go up these stairs 3 or even 4 at a time. That would be a bit of a bend. But yeah, you just feel like you could easily.
I feel like I could sprint up and down them without a
You
problem.
can run up these stairs. That's the way you feel. All right.
Not gonna do it,
I
but
feel good. Na, 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 na.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. So let me. And let's see here. What is? And by the way, this outfit that you're wearing is strawberry red. All right. So you guys, Jason, I assume you're still laying. I'm assuming you're still laying on the floor here.
Yeah.
Okay. You see Jason laying on the floor, Gandalf, and you know, and Jason, you hear a woman's voice, and you look back and you see basically Gandalf dressed as a strawberry red Teletubby, walking next to this girl who's wearing a unitard as well, but hers a bit more form fitting, and she has one of these big visors over her eyes, her face, and of course he has the and it's Gandalf. So, anyways,
I burst out laughing
of
when I see Gandalf,
okay.
and I say, "Well, I'm very glad that the rumors of your demise were greatly exaggerated." And I say, "I don't know if you want to go in those rooms. They're covered in worms."
It's some kind of cleaning system.
So this voice from inside the room yells out, "It's all covered in cleaning system."
I'm gonna look at my aide and say worms.
Yeah, you if you want to, you can look through the open door that's into this next to Jason.
Okay, I'll peek in.
Okay, you see that the floor is covered with these grayish worms that are like crawling over each other.
I thought you said they were neon colors.
Sorry, they're let me generate. Okay, this particular one is a neon blue. The one next to other people have different colors.
I'm gonna look at my assistant and say, what is that?
That's the floor.
Why is it covered in worms?
Oh, that's standard for it's just a cleaning clean surface.
But it's covered in worms.
They're not really worms. They're
What are they?
they're biomechanical cleaning constructs.
They're terrifying.
They're
They are?
So like living carpet?
Yeah, it's not alive. But it moves like things that are alive.
Why?
That's supposed to be soothing. You don't think so?
That
Okay.
depends on your definition of soothing.
Well,
I find it
anyway.
rather unnerving. Thanks.
Oh,
We didn't have.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to tell I forgot her name.
We don't have anything
Florence.
like.
You want me to tell Florence to shut off the floor in your room?
Yes, please. And can I get one with the shower?
Is there a word in your language for shower?
She says, "I'm not sure I understand what you mean."
Bathing?
Well, you'll have to do that by yourself if you turn off the floor.
The floor bathes you?
Of course it does. I mean, in most people's homes, you have an area where this kind of cleaning takes place. It's not like, and this is a dorm room, so it's kind of small, and young people usually need a little bit of encouragement to keep clean. It's a lot tidier than just letting people clean up after themselves. Don't you think?
It's
If
just
you
we're
say
not used
so.
to anything like this.
Oh, well, you don't have. They don't. They stopped having this in New Jerusalem.
We're not from New Jerusalem.
Oh, you're not. Oh, I didn't know. That wasn't in the briefing I was given.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the doctor knew that. But anyway, Dr. Kiki,
Okay.
Kiri, Dr. Kiri.
No, we are not familiar with this, and I didn't know. We have no way to talk to anybody from the outside. Can we get some sort of communication to Florence? Because this would have answered a number of questions I had a long time ago.
I have a
Oh,
way of communicating with them now.
I say,
Okay.
is there a way to? Do you have computers that we can use?
of course we do.
How do we use them?
Well, you're going to need visor and
A what?
a visor so you can see, and
Okay, yeah.
and so it can read your hand motions for when you want to, move various pointing devices and input type devices.
Have I seen one of those in my room?
No,
I
you
say,
have.
could you please get me one?
I'm afraid that's outside of my area of
Okay.
responsibility. I'm sure that such things are coming. I mean, you just got here, so I mean, it's. I'm sure there's a reason why they haven't loaded you up and unleashed you onto the, the info world, the infoplex. Let's use that word.
Infoplex.
Katie, am I able to communicate with Florence? With the
No, Dr. Katie says, "Oh, hey, hi, Gandalf, how you doing? Are you in a room?"
I didn't say Dr. Kiri, I said Tech Katie.
Who's what?
No, when you ask, hey, Nurse Katie, basically Dr. Kiri, you
Okay.
heard his voice next to your ear saying, "Oh, hey, Gandalf, are you in your room now?
Standing outside of it.
Got there okay?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any concern?"
Am I able to communicate with the she calls herself the dorm mother here?
Have a name?
Florence?
Florence. Okay, hold on a second. Right. Okay. You can. Do you wish to have um, do you wish to have a verbal line to her? As far as I know, you can just go see her.
The ability to have a verbal line to her, yes.
Okay. Here's all right. So okay. Hold on 1 second. All right. So I'm going to transfer. Let's do. If you hit the if you hit your like emergency button, then you'll be connected directly to me. Okay. Otherwise, say, hey Florence, and it'll ping her so that she with your identification, and if he can talk to you at that time, because he might be busy doing something else, she'll respond. Otherwise, you'll hear a general response of so and so, has been informed of your request.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so remember, it's Hey Florence. Okay, you want? Go ahead and try it. But I'm going to be disconnected now. Okay.
Okay.
So 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Florence.
Like 2 seconds ago, and it's the woman that you just met downstairs. It says, "Hey, Gandalf, right?"
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I didn't know anybody had set you up with any kind of infloplex here. Are you doing okay? Do you need something?
Well, my companions have some questions for you.
Oh, okay. I thought they were resting. I'll come right up and we can discuss things. Would that be okay, or do you guys want to come down and go to a meeting room? Which would be your preference? None of you guys are hearing
best.
any of this. This is all happening in Gandalf, and he's saying things, and you're not hearing anything.
Which do we want to go down to a meeting room or have her come up here?
Whatever works best.
Which is easier for you?
And answer any questions that I can.
Okay.
All right. So, have you picked a room?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, you have the whole wing to yourself, so there's like 30 rooms, and there's only like 5 of you, so you can spread out, I guess, if you want. Whatever you want.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll be in a minute.
All right. When I look at my aid, am I able to communicate with you this way too?
No, I'm part of Dr. Curie's staff, and so unless he sends me information, I won't be able to communicate with you. Okay, but it's better that I think it's better that you only have one point of contact, but that's going to ramp up very quickly as soon as you get your her visor. As soon as you get your visor, you'll be able to talk to anybody you want to, as long as they're willing to talk to you.
Okay.
Just give it a day. Okay, like I said, you guys just went through a really, especially you, went through a very traumatic experience, and your brain needs some time to adjust to a whole new place. There's a lot of there's a lot of hidden factors that will affect your sense of well-being. You have a different air pressure now. You have a different ambient temperature. Lighting level should be the same, but anyway, it's entirely up to you. What you want. But anyway, I need to leave now. I have other duties I need to get to. So
thank you for your assistance.
Sure. And she basically just takes her hand and presses it. It says, "You take care of yourself, big guy."
Feel free to come visit.
Maybe I will. Is that an invitation? Is that an invitation? He winks at you.
Maybe.
Well,
well,
wait
you let me
to screw
know.
that one
You
up.
let me know when if you make up your mind. And he says, "Bye, everyone." He turns around and just, just kind of like,
Bye, Stepford nurse.
just he kind of dogs away.
So, Gandalf, why do you look like a strawberry?
Apparently, apparently this is a pressure suit. It is a medical prosthetic device to support my joints and my muscles because
You're working.
I had a lot of injuries from that crash.
Just for the fun of it, I'm gonna take my hearing aid off and hold it up to Gandalf. Hey, it's the exact same color.
Is it?
It is.
Strawberry red.
Mhm. Didn't like boring, so I had to go with
Um,
red.
Voice off. I am saying voice off.
But
So you can't
no
hear
one would.
anybody now?
You can hear fine.
Oh,
It's not. He
No, I don't want anyone else to be able to hear me talking to my group.
oh,
okay. Well, nothing happens when you say that.
Still, they told me that I could say it and it would cut it
Yeah.
off.
Okay. Right.
Okay. I got an injection for the pain,
hmm
but apparently it included a communications device that
Interesting.
they inject children with at birth.
No anti-vaxxers here then.
Apparently not.
Very
But
interesting. And what was wrong with you? What did they tell you?
let's see, muscle and ligament tears, joint sprains, some swelling in some of my internal organs.
And you're up and walking around?
And thanks to this suit,
Okay. You still look dorky, but it makes sense now.
dude, I can run up and down these steps that I just came up without an issue.
You look
Huh.
like a walking strawberry, and it's beautiful.
Want to arm wrestle?
I'm good.
Are you still laying on the floor?
No, I'm standing at this point.
Oh,
You want to lay in the
Uh,
worms?
He's in the hallway.
We're all standing in
I
the
said, do
hallway.
you want to lay in the worms?
You're not asking me.
It was a curious question. I'm asking Gandalf.
I'm not sure because, well, this has a massage feature constantly going in it, apparently,
Interesting.
to keep the
Better
blood
not.
flow going.
I was going to say better not to wear it while driving then, because you'll go right to sleep.
It's to keep blood flow going.
Huh. Yeah, like the inflatable mattresses in the hospitals.
Better.
Similar, I would say. Not the same, obviously. Huh.
And they've got some very high tech machinery.
Apparently so. I'm very curious to see that.
Sounds interesting.
Well, it looks like you're back, so that's good. You've had an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Do you still have all your gear?
Oh, I'm taking a
I'm
picture of
holding it.
Gandalf.
His clothing, boots, and everything else he has in his arm.
Well, let's find you a room, and the floor creeps me out, but apparently it's nothing harmful. So I'll walk him to a room.
I don't think that whatever the floor is made out of is going to make it through this suit. So,
Okay, guys, what are we going to tell them?
That's a good
you're
question.
already
We
you're willing
have
to tell them that we're IDET and everything, so
if we're going to be doing any trade with them, especially if they have high technology, so we can't just trade everything that comes to mind because they probably already have it. We need to know a lot about them. They're going to have to know a lot about us. So
so
we're
do
going
we
to have
go
to.
with the
We're going to have to tell them now. It doesn't mean they might not say, this is all some fake video you created on a computer.
yes, but I don't think the dorm mother is the person to tell.
No.
Well, yeah, we got to find out who we should tell about this. And if everybody needs to have that, childhood injection before they can. Do they need a childhood injection for computers? Because they said you need a visor, so it sounds like you might not need it.
I have no idea.
On the other hand, maybe you do need it, and that's why they haven't given us a visor yet because we couldn't use it.
It's possible.
So again, who knows? Now, if they're having a medical issue causing their population problem, maybe we could help them with that if our medical knowledge, even if you know less medicine than them, it might not completely, it might just like overlap and not be exactly like a subset. So we might have something that could help.
Some of the medical issues could also be interbreeding.
Could be, but I don't know. We
But
need to
they're
find out.
animals. Some of their animals, it sounds like they said like some of their animals have died, so they don't have like cows or elephants. Now maybe that's just because they're in a small space.
I think they don't have the ecosystem to support large animals any longer. I think they're the environment itself has gotten to the point where they couldn't support that. So,
well, if they figure out how to
cattle
replace
require large grazing areas.
Now there could be like things we could give them in that area, like if let's say turkeys went extinct, you can give them turkeys or plants that they don't have. Because their ecology, you're right. It can't be pretty. It can't be good. So we might have stuff that they need in that area to trade.
And the issue is going to be the fact that we only have one portal, which is currently inaccessible by this area because of the theocracy that is in control of the planet.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a big issue.
Unless there's a way to bypass.
Again, if they know that we're from this portal, they may be able to help us in some way to get there and back. Like probably not just like take us there, but there may be something they could tell us, like the best way to travel or something like that, or the best way to avoid detection.
I guess we're just going to have to see what happens when we get introduced to the leadership. Do you think we should? My question is, do you think we should just be completely above board and say that we're from another planet somewhere?
I think we
they might
gotta.
believe it.
because
Or they might
as
think
I
we're all
said,
just absolutely insane.
as I said, they could say that like the stuff on our computer is just fake, but we do have this stuff on our computer that means we're not just like making it up like half an hour ago. It might
Speaking
take.
of which, I checked my pack. Is my IDET computer still intact, or did it take a beating? I mean, I know they're pretty durable, so.
Yeah. As long as it was like, secured, then it
Yeah, it
should be
was
fine.
secured, so all right.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, the only reason anybody got hurt with that landing was because somebody was on a tether and got
Right.
hurled through the room,
Yeah. Okay.
smashed into the walls. And
How
stuff.
long are you in this cocoon for, Gandalf? In your Teletubby suit?
I'm not familiar with the Teletubbies, but I'm in this for, I think he said a week.
Okay.
At least a week.
So Kaitlin Q Teletubby, so he knows what he's talking about.
I shall cue the Teletubbies.
I'm guessing that you did not have small children for like in the last 20 years.
Nope.
You mean you yourself don't know the Teletubbies?
Yeah, you're the red one in front.
Gandalf doesn't know the Teletubbies.
Gandalf is.
Oh,
I
okay.
unfortunately do.
Yeah, unfortunately. No, I know of this phenomenon of Teletubby. Okay.
He's 2 years older than Angel, so he would have grown up on it.
Gandalf?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'm the old man, I forget. Or no, Mike's the old man.
Mike's the old man.
Gandalf is also from an Inuit tribe.
Okay, fair enough. And I grew up on the
He
French
had no
version of
television.
Teletubbies.
He was a snow cone salesman in Alaska.
No, not a snow cone salesman. He was a bobsled salesman. A used bobsled salesman.
Used bob.
Well,
Very
you could
specific.
sell snow cones in a cold place. I mean, why would you not be able to sell cold food in a cold place?
I used to have a friend that I said was such a good salesman he could sell ice to Eskimos.
I got accused of that a number of times growing up.
Okay, so I guess we have a bit of time. They said we have. How much time has passed between his surgery and us being here? I guess for his medical treatment.
About an hour.
So we've got about 7 hours until they're going to contact us for food.
6 hours, but yeah.
I explained.
And Florence is going to be showing up in a second. Do you guys want to keep going, or do you want to stop at 10:25?
10:20.
Yeah,
to
let's
you.
stop it here. It's a good stopping point.
Yeah, it's a stopping point. So.
Okay.
So think about what kind of questions you want to ask Florence. She may or may not have the knowledge that you need, but these people do seem to have the ability to draw upon the infoplex. So